Hello, now we are going to tackle the Saturn cube. So Saturn is the next stop and the second of the Jovian planets, which are the gas giants. Saturn is interesting in that the main feature that stands out are, of course, its rings. So you've got rings that orbit around the entire side, which is why on one side, on one plane rather than side, all of the sides are bandaged as opposed to a top side and a bottom side which are not. Despite the fact that it's the second largest planet in the solar system, it only has 1/8 of the density of the Earth, which means, because it's so much less dense, if you were to put it in a bathtub the size of larger than Saturn and filled it with water, it would actually leave a ring. That's a little astronomical joke, but anyway, it would actually float. So it makes for very, very challenging solves, as this uses a very different strategy than the other cubes. So, without further ado, hocus pocus. And we have ourselves a pretty good scramble. So let's navigate our way through this cube. First step that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with one of my banded sides. In my case, it's the white side and the yellow side. So adjust your particular strategies for your cube accordingly. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the full cross here, including the inner and outer edges. And it's done pretty intuitively, no need for any complicated algorithms. So I'm going to take the outer edge, put it on the top, and just start using this bandage layer to fill it up. So put the white here, and I'm going to put the green one in. So this will come down and up, nothing fancy. Here's a green, and that appears to be okay. Now I should say at this point too that I can't just use any green in any direction. It has to fit a certain criteria to be within the plane of the center green. So here, I can use it from here, here, or here. If the green was on this side, I'm not going to be able to rotate it into where I want it. So just bear that in mind. So I'm going to move that here. And as you can see, when I use this green, I can move it to the center and just put it in. And it's kind of a mild point that I'm sure you would have been able to figure out. So here's another white. Move it up. And find my way to a white over here. And put that in place. Then I'm going to find a red. So bring this down and find a red here. But a red that fulfills my criteria, so it's got to be here, or here, or here. And if we can't find one, then we borrow one from the top layer here, because then we can move it in. So we'll just move this to the side. Whoop, can't do that yet. So I'm going to use this red layer here, move it to the side, move it up, and then move what I'm looking for in here. And then basically just moving it down and moving it in. So I think you get the picture. Here's another one over here. We already have the orange. So actually this orange doesn't really fit our qualifications. We'd have to use an orange within this plane over here. So I'm going to keep this white, but I got to abandon this orange because I can't move it in appropriately. I'll move it over here, move this up, so I can abandon this orange, which is the wrong one, move this back down, move this orange up, which fits our criteria, up twice here. So now you can see we can move this down into the proper center and move it here. So we're getting there. We just have this side to go. Here's a blue and white. Move that up. Kind of be cognizant that we move this one out. Find a white one to move it into. Here's one over here. Move it here. Move it across here. Now I've got to get this red back to where it was before. Move it up and down here. So now I've got the white one in place. Can you see that? Yeah. Now I just have to put in a blue that matches the criteria here, or here, or here. We got one here, so that's fine. So I'm going to move this up, move this up, move it twice to bring that in, and just move all the other whites down that I moved up. And I can move this down, across, and I got to move this down here. Whoop. So we filled in our entire cross on the bottom side. So now we have to fill it in on the middle layer here too. Now because we're now getting more sides filled in, we're losing our degrees of freedom. So our entropy is decreasing. which means entropy is basically our degrees of freedom. So as we're getting into a more ordered state, our freedom to move is decreasing, which means we have to work a little bit harder, as thermodynamics are not on our side. But the strategy is really the same. So I'm going to find all the non-yellow outer edges, which is over here. And basically I'm just going to move this up and find myself any old orange. So move this up here, here, move this down, and for the time being, move it across like that. Now I've got to find a blue, but a blue that fits my criteria. We'll move this down here. Here, here, or here. We don't have one, so we're going to have to use one from the top, which is here. What I should also go over is the only algorithm that you need to know, for the most part, in order to flip these guys around. So in order to move these without taking these out of the picture, the algorithm that I'm going to do is going to take this, move it to here, then move it to here, move it to here, and that's how we sort of jump this around. And it's going to be a combination of F and R moves and F and L moves and just being reciprocal. So in this case, to move this from here to here, I'm going to go like holding this in the front here, F, RI, FI, R. So it moved it over here without changing this. If I wanted to move it up further, if I wanted to move this one up, I'm going to move this to here, then here to here, so same thing, F, RI, FI, R. So it's here. Now to move it up here, I do exactly the same thing, F, RI, FI, R, and there it is over here. If I wanted to move it across here, then I do just the opposite. So now that I've got this here, I have to find the right blue. Here's a blue over here. So all I'm going to do is just move this up, move this in, and move it down. So now I have the right side. I just have to put this where I need it, which is over here. So I'm going to do my little dance from here to here to here. So to move it that way, basically I'm going to hold it with this in the front. In this case, FI, L, F, Li, so it's over here, and then same thing. So just kind of get used to that pattern, and now we fill that in over there. And the rest is really just the same kind of thing, so it's kind of fun. Red and green, we'll just move, say, the red one up, meet it here, and we'll move this back. If anything pops out, you can easily just put it back in. So now I've got the red one here. I want to flip this up now so that I can find a green. So put it here to here, here to here, which will flip it. So we have F, RI, FIR, put it here, and same thing. So it's over here. So now I have to find a green. Here's one here that meets my criteria. So this comes up. This, try that again. Oh, okay. This meets the criteria, but I got to be careful about not messing this up over here. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Yeah, move it out of the way. This green comes up, this comes across to meet it, and then it comes down. So now I've got this one filled in. So what else do we have? We've got red and blue. I'll just move the blue one in here, and then shuffle it around to get this up here. So move it from here to here, and then move it from here to here by doing it again. And there it is there. So where's a red? Here are two. I can't use this one, right? It'll put this in place, but I can't move it to where I want it, so this is the red one that meets my criteria. And I have to move it down, so I'm going to hold it here and do that algorithm. So there it is. I just have this to go, and it's going to be this one here. Any greens? Any wayward greens? No. So I'm going to move this orange one up, or better yet, I can just move a green one up. How about this one over here? So let's just move this to the side, move this green one up twice, and then down. So now I just have to find an orange one. Here's one over here, which meets our criteria. So really, this isn't too complicated. Move it up, meet it, and move this down. So this is stuck up here. We just move it here, doing our, in this position, F, RI, FIR. So what we've done is we've filled in our middle layer, and still have our bottom layer over here.